following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
I could smile for a while, but then Matt took the hill, and I swallowed some pills, and I stopped to think on it. I had some hope, but I was a dope, and now I'm crying over them, crying over them. I thought there was a chance we could be decent in the dance, but now I'm crying. I thought that we could win some games, but it seems that we are lame. I thought Brody could deal, but he lacks any zeal. But mercy, what can we do? All we have is Jake, since our guys can't rake. And we're crying for the fans, crying 'cause we can. And Pete hasn't hit, and the pitching is shit. So I'm crying over orange and blue. There you go.
Whoa. I like it, Mert. Absolutely. And I remember how you would sing as a kid, on the corner or whatever. Phil, guy named Phil.
Phil Miller, yeah. No, we did. I sang with Jeffrey Foreman and some guys in Flushing, and we had fun. We had fun doing it,
Yeah, but Jeffrey Foreman had one beautiful voice,
and you know what he became later on in life.
Cantor.
That's correct. That is correct. So he made use of it,
He absolutely did. He was the one guy that we knew with. I remember him singing along to the Four Seasons and sounding on the radio and sounding as good, if you can imagine that. It's just one of those pure voices. Yep. Good that he's in the big money-making industry now.
Yes. Oh, boy.
That's organized religion for you. It's not just the Jews.
Right.
Everybody makes guilt. And he was hired as a cantor because of his beautiful voices, because synagogues compete with each other to get, people to come there on Saturday and open up the first strings. That's what it is.
Sure.
It's a religion. It's a money-making proposition. So, but that being said, that was very good, Mert.
Well, thank you. If somebody gives me, if I use a melody that's already out there, I could easily come up with, lyrics for anything. So I used to do that a lot. When we were kids. It was fun.
Yeah.
But
for those who don't know, Marty Rose is from the famous Rose musical family, featuring Bernie Rose, who he's good. Your brother's good.
Yeah, he plays in 3 different bands. Of course, that was before COVID,
Right.
When since the bars are closed, his bands used to play in all kinds of places, casinos and bars, and they did an outdoor gig on the west side of Florida last summer, and he's very good. Sings and plays piano and organ. Yeah.
Okay. Robert, anything musical in your background? Seriously.
No, not really. Not really.
Okay. Well, you're like me.
I play the radio pretty good, though.
Yeah, you like music, but you just don't know if you like me. You like music, you just can't put it together, the notes, but it sounds good. That's
I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, as they used to say.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of not being able to carry anything anywhere, let's. Although they had a little streak last week where they looked good.
For 2 games.
Yeah. It seems like an eternity to a Met fan.
Yeah, but well, let's face it. That after DeGrom, the rest of the starting rotation is horrible. I mean,
Stroman opted out this week, and there was an article that he really did them bad. Although anybody who wants to opt out in these days,
right?
What can you say? I mean,
but he tore a muscle. It wasn't like a little strain or a sprain or something. He actually tore the calf muscle. So I mean, I can't believe he was that close to coming back. I mean, originally they said he could have been out for the year.
Right.
So it must have been a struggle for him to come back, and then he figures, why bother, right? I guess.
Right. And again, we don't know what goes through players' heads in this situation due to the exposure and stuff. There was something interesting. They were talking about the possibility or asking why they didn't put MLB in a bubble. Because, let's face it, it seems to be working for the NBA.
Too big. Too many players, too much equipment. It's just not feasible. Basketball, you got 15 guys and a couple of balls. I mean, it's way different. Way different. Because they can use one court.
They are talking, however.
Yeah.
They are talking, however, about doing the postseason possibly in a bubble.
Well, yeah, why not? Because there's only a few teams in there.
Right.
So, I mean, with the basketball, they could play around the clock 24 hours if they wanted to on one court. Baseball is so much different. I don't,
yes.
With groundskeepers in between games and what have you. You're absolutely right. Maybe then dividing it into divisions and keeping a bubble on that.
Well, I think originally weren't they talking about having 4 bubbles? California, Arizona, Florida, and somewhere else. But of course, I mean, the United States is, you really can't do much. I mean, there's so much virus all over the place.
And how many cardboard cutouts would you disappoint if they weren't playing in the stadium?
Well, you have to have the grounds crew would have to switch them out, Ralph. Between games.
All right. Well, they have feelings. Levis has feelings. They have feelings, for crying out loud. Got to be a little more sensitive. Just switch them out. Are they going to say something about that? There's always going to be complainers. You cannot please everybody. It is.
And then when you bring the new team, when you bring the new team's cutouts in, do they have to be tested for the virus?
Were you with the paper mache last night? No, that wasn't me. She didn't have it. You're on a trace list here. They could spend a lot of money doing that, while the average guy waits 10 to 15 days. He could be in the hospital already and not get the test back. And there have been stories about that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
This is not only the craziest baseball season, it's just a microcosm of the craziest frickin' year in the history. You could not write fiction like that and expect it to be sold. It's absolutely nuts on every level. Wow. I feel sorry for the kids, your kids' age, my kids' age. You know, just living life. Youth doesn't last forever anyway. So to take X number of months or years and you'd be curtailed socially and in every other way, educationally. How about people wanting to get a scholarship? Wanting to graduate so they can get on with life. It's messed up in space. So that means double for anybody out there, by the way. Old expression.
We've got any listeners out there in South Dakota with all those bikers? You guys are nuts. Just
don't worry. I figured that out about South Dakota and who's listening in South Dakota. Do you think that any of these people are smart enough to turn on a computer and know how to do that?
Here comes the hate mail, Ralph.
Oh, pardon?
Here comes the hate mail.
Oh, right. Well, and worse yet, the hate female. She's right behind them.
They're worse.
There were, oh yeah. Oh yeah, can be, have been, stuff like that. We won't send out any, remember the radio we used to listen to, what was his name, down in the basement, had a weekly radio, Slim.
Swingin'
Slim. He had a weekend radio. He'd have shout-outs, and people would call in with shout-outs. We won't do any shout-outs. That's my point. Swingin' Slim had a record store in the
6th
subway.
Avenue subway station.
Right.
I think it was 42nd Street and 6th Avenue, right down the stairs. Yeah.
You can look him up I've done it over the years. Looked him up. So, found out who he is on Google.
I think his last name was Irving Rose, wasn't it?
Might have been. I don't remember that.
I think
but he had, what was the animal he had? He had a creature on the table when you'd come in. It was
I can't remember. Yeah,
I can't either. It was some sort of animal that he had domesticated. Let's put it that way. He had a great record collection, and he played great
stuff, that you never
alternative.
Heard of.
You weren't going to be listening to that on. There was a lot of black stuff he played that in those days in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
And early 60s, couldn't get on conventional radio.
No.
He was a hero to us as a kid. Radio was very important. From the moment you got up in the morning as a kid in New York, who did you listen to primarily? Not necessarily in the morning, Robert.
Well, it was, the big three back then was ABC, MCA, and INS till it became a news station.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Murray the K.
Yeah, Murray the K was on 1010 Wins, right?
Murray the K. Bruce Morrow, who's still around.
Cousin Brucey.
You know he's coming back. Did you see that today? Cousin Brucey.
Oh, wow.
He he was on XM, right? He was doing 60s on 6, for a long time on XM. So about, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, he said he's stepping down, but he's not retiring, and he didn't say anything else, okay? Then the other day, I don't know, it was yesterday or the day before, he's coming back to WABC in New York, 77, and he's going to be doing a Saturday night rock and roll dance party. And why? Because about a year or so ago, some guy bought the station for like $12.5 million. He's the guy that owns the Gristedes supermarket chain in New York. He bought the station, and when he was a kid, I guess he's our age. When he was a kid, he loved Cousin Brucey, so he got him to come back, and he's going to be on. He's going to be not just on the radio, but he's going to be online also on like WABC.com. Saturday night rock and roll party, starting September 5th. Yeah. Oh. So that's pretty exciting. He's 84. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Hey, 84. I love it. I love it when people keep it together who are older than us, considerably older.
Yeah.
If you go to the comfortablyzoned.com website, mm-hmm. I have interviews with 90-year-olds and up that we've done. 4 or 5 of them. Bob Wolf I did.
I heard the Bob Wolf one. That was great. That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. We did, who else was over 90 when, the third baseman of the Yankees, who was a doctor, Dr.
Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown have a great interview on with him. Can't think of any others offhand, but there are 5 of them, all guys over 90 who had it much more together than I did at 70. And I really enjoyed the company of people because to me it's an inspiration. You know, not everybody gets old and just loses it. And
to hear the stuff that they know that come, from way back that you had no idea. That's what's great about it.
Yep.
Well, that's what's great about this. That's what's great about this show, by the way. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to same thing. Yeah, when you think about it, we are as gifted along those lines in terms of memories and putting things together. And we're 73. You wouldn't know it from our acuity, really. So that's a compliment to all 3 of us because I think we put on a good show. I have a question for you off the top of my head. One album that you would take to the grave, that you would take to, if you only had one album, to a desert, whatever. I'll start with you, Robert. One album.
One album. Probably my very first album was the Beach Boys album, the original Surfin' Safari album.
Okay, Marty.
Great. That's very hard. I don't know. If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Sgt. Pepper's.
Okay. And mine would be Muddy Waters and the Rolling Stones live at the Checkerboard in Chicago. If you want to go on YouTube and hear something great, got Buddy Guy comes on later on in the show. It's just terrific. I mean, you see the influence of the Rolling Stones, of Muddy Waters and the blues on the Stones. I've been listening to that for about a week over and over again, so that's the one I choose today.
Nice.
That will change. Let's do this. Let's pick an album every week. How about that?
Well, we could do that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would give us something to think about. Just off the top of it, it's something that's not a right or wrong. You just like them.
Yeah. Well, I did a thing like a month or two ago where it was a challenge. Put up one album for 10 straight days.
Right.
Which I did. I did that.
Yes,
So,
that's what influenced me on this question. I was curious to see if you had one.
I tried to do it chronologically, with the oldest one first and then going forward. So I ended up with 11 because I left one out that I really liked. So, but
Robert, you started when you described your album, you started the Beach Boy album. You started to say, "This is the album I listened to as a kid," and I was going to say, and you mentioned it in your top 10, Dion and the Belmonts.
Man, yeah.
That was one that I played into the ground.
Yes. That's probably the oldest one out of all the ones that I came up with. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow. Nice.
I know the one that I played a lot was the Animals. Was one of my favorite ones also.
Yes.
House of the Rising Sun.
Yes. But you know what? The music that sticks in my head was the music I played in 1965. I ended up going in the Air Force in November of 65. And the music there was a lot of Stones in my head at that time. Hang On Sloopy, a lot of war songs.
Yes, it was starting about that time, yes.
Right. Well, what was the one? There was one that was really well done.
Barry Maguire.
Yes.
Fighting soldiers from the sky.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. When you were thinking, you said Barry Maguire. I was thinking McGuinn and Maguire.
Eve of Destruction.
Eve of Destruction. Wow,
yes,
can't believe I'm playing that shit right before enlisting, right? And I didn't know Vietnam from Kansas City. Honest to God. Yeah. Did we know anything about the circumstances behind it? About who had the smartest guy turned out to be Ali. Cassius Clay, I don't know Vietnamese, never called me a nigger.
Yeah. Well, I sort of knew something about it, but not a whole lot. Well, all I know is we'd rather not go there. Is
yes.
The way I was looking at it. So, I mean,
you got there and came back. How about that?
Well, yeah. But look, Ralph, if we didn't enlist, we would have got drafted.
Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't just do it for the fun of basic training.
I understand that, but what we ended up doing was we signed up for 2 extra years as basically a guarantee that we were coming back. We weren't going
no
there.
Question.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was the whole deal then. So
and they lied to us twice. They lied about going over there. That if you go over there, I remember what he told us. The same guy, different times.
Yeah. He
said, if you go over there, you'll be protected by the Army, and the Marines will be protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're over there, you're the Air Force, you'll be safe. They didn't say anything about mortars.
No, they didn't.
They
left
failed
that part
to mention.
Out, yeah.
They left that part out.
Yeah.
And there was another thing they left out because the schmuck probably didn't know any more about Agent Orange.
Right.
Than
sure
we did.
Right.
Right.
That's probably true, yeah.
But the government knew.
Oh, yeah.
They kept strict records, and they kept track of everything, and they knew all of it. So, all right. On a happier note, Mets lose 14-0.
And they're losing 2-0 tonight. So.
Okay, keep it going.
Well, that's better than 14.
Yeah, that's right. Or as one time I was talking to some acquaintance, and I'm bemoaning the fact that my team lost, and he says, "Well, they only lost." It was a baseball thing. They only lost by 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you grasp the concept yet. But maybe I'll talk to someone else and make myself a little less crazy.
Actually, the first guy up in the game hit a home run. Turner, the first batter, was 1-0 after one batter tonight. But now we've gotten through 2 scoreless innings. Washington got 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and then we put up 2 zeros. Wow. Exciting.
Well, the pitching staff gets it together. Let's put it that way.
Really? Well, it looks like, who'd they say, Lockett tomorrow in all likelihood? Yeah, they brought Lockett back from Brooklyn. So he's probably starting tomorrow. And
yeah, they said either he would either start or he would be the bulk guy. They would start somebody else and then bring him in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting sentence
Brock
in today's day and age. They brought him back from Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, they did.
Well, Sandy Amoros was not available.
nor Clem Labine, yeah.
No,
right.
Well, he was for a while.
That's true.
He wasn't happy. He and Ginsburg weren't happy. He thought they used him a little bit. And they probably did. They were looking for names at that time.
That's right.
And I remember how they drafted Antonelli and Lowe's. And
those guys didn't want to go. Yeah. They retired.
They didn't want. They knew something. They had a vision of what it was like. Couldn't have been worse. I saw a little thing on Facebook today where they had a picture of Chico Fernandez just coming up with the Dodgers. Slick fielding Chico. Did you see that? Slick fielding Chico Fernandez. He was a Met in '63, and he was not as slick a fielder as he had been in the past. That was much more frustrating to me than '62. I've mentioned that before. Just we had more hopes, and it sucked as well.
Yeah.
We had high hopes.
I still have high hopes.
Right.
All right. A little.
Just real quick with the Mets, okay?
Please.
Let's talk about their one bright spot, okay? Andres Gimenez.
Yes.
Okay, who's been. Okay, he just hit a triple. Well,
Tell me about his glove. Is he comparable to Rosario fielding wise?
Better.
Oh yeah.
They say he's got a major league Gold Glove right now, and it was just a matter of his hitting, and so far he's been hitting.
Yeah, he's hitting 308. He's hitting. I even heard Howie say today, which something we hadn't heard since last year. Rosario, they were looking at him in center field for a while last year.
I was just thinking that. I did not hear him say that, but would that not be nice? If this guy's a better fielder.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Seems to be, yeah.
So out of the ashes, sometimes good things happen.
Yeah, well,
you know what I don't understand?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say shortstops very often can play other positions. And, you know, you can put Rosario in center field. You also have a really talented shortstop in the minors, Ronnie Mauricio. And he's considered one of the top prospects in the entire major leagues.
Yeah.
So,
hey, if you want to go back a ways, Mantle and Mercer both started out as shortstops.
Right. Yep.
So
you know, I mean,
yeah, we were kids. The best athletes played shortstops.
Yeah, you're right.
Either the best athletes or the coach's son.
Right. And if he wasn't playing shortstop, he was pitching.
That's right.
Right, exactly.
So we've had our Little League. You told me something on the air. I didn't realize that you and the Bear had coached Little League. Marty.
Yeah. The Elm Jack Little League. Yeah, we did for 1 year.
Didn't know that.
We did that for 1 year. During the week I got there after work, and on the weekends, they played early games on Saturday usually. The only problem was that we were new, and there were guys that were doing it for a long time, so they got all the good players, So they knew who to pick, and all that stuff. We pretty much got the dregs, but it ended up. It's funny. We ended up with one kid who they overlooked, maybe because he was black. I don't know that for sure, but the kid was really good. He pitched. We pitched him as much as we possibly could by law, and and yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed that.
Good.
Not having any sons, and I even tried my daughters when they were little, like first and second grade. They went out for it, and I coached them, but they're picking flowers out in the field instead of paying attention. So I mean, and after after the second grade was over, but by the time it was third grade, it started being competitive. But second grade and below, it was just for fun. They really didn't even keep score, But my girls are like totally non-athletic, so. But that's okay.
That is definitely okay. I was going to ask you last time, what physical therapy is that? Megan?
Megan, yeah. Oh, what happened? I never told you what happened with her.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they got a dog, right? A big dog. Whoa,
big dog, right?
A husky. Okay, he's like 70 pounds or something. So I guess he never went to obedience school. So she's out. I mean, he's very good. He's good with the grandchild. He's very good with. He's good in the house. But she went out to walk him, and he saw like a squirrel, and he started running after it. And Megan's holding on to the leash, and he pulled her down to the ground. And she fell on her shoulder. She fell on her shoulder. Luckily, it was on the grass she fell on, but she had a slight tear in the rotator cuff and a slight fracture of the shoulder bone or something. So, but but she didn't need surgery, but she's still going to physical therapy twice a week. And they
building up the muscles around it.
Yeah, and they don't want her to drive yet. But she's seeing the doctor, I think, the last week of this month. So, they could either switch down to 1 day a week instead of 2. Maybe she can get back to driving. But, she couldn't work for the first about 3 weeks because she couldn't raise her, arm to hit the keyboard. It was that bad. It's much better now.
Wow.
Yeah, much better now. She's been, working for the last few weeks back at the job. So, that was a little scary.
All right, wish you the best from us.
Yeah, thanks.
I
will do that. Thank you.
All right. Anything you guys would like to close with?
I don't know. I'm just like generally disappointed. I'm just generally disappointed in the whole team, and I'm really hoping that this COVID thing doesn't interfere with selling the team, because that has to happen. That's got to go through, and then the first thing after that is fire Brody. They got to start all over again at the top.
Right. And it should be from without. Yeah. In other words, it shouldn't be like 4 or 5 guys on a panel like last time.
No.
No. Get one guy making the decision, right or wrong. That would be nice.
It would be.
Yeah, well, I think any of the 3 groups that are looking to buy them, I think they would do that. That they're 3 strong groups. That they're not namby-pamby like the Wilpons.
Right. Are they willing to give up complete control at this point, the Wilpons?
I think so, Ralph.
They have to. They have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was rumor when they were talking to Cohen of phasing him in terms of leadership.
Yeah, that was before this whole situation came up.
Yeah.
And
No, this is a clean deal. However, it does not include SNY.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
As far as I know, the Wilpons are holding on to SNY. So.
Okay.
Well, let's bring the price down a little bit then. So.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Fred's not getting any younger, Fred and
hey, by the time they sell it, his kid won't be getting any younger.
Yeah. This is true. I know.
All right, guys. Manage to stay well, please. That's all, week to week.
Yep. You too, man. Take it easy. Have
okay.
a good week.
All right. Robert Cole, Marty Rose. I'm Ralph Tyko, Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. The Mets in the zone. Thanks, guys. And thank you for listening, everybody. Happy trails.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned Network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.